How can you save time and effort working with Microsoft Teams? Hi, I'm Dawn. In this online training, we'll look at 15 time-saving tips and tricks for Microsoft Teams. Number 1, keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are often a much faster way to move to main options in Microsoft Teams. One easy way to see a list of Teams keyboard shortcuts is to press another keyboard shortcut, and that is Control and the period. Explore these shortcuts. These shortcuts are supported by the Teams desktop app running on Windows. Some shortcuts are different for the Teams desktop app versus the web app. To explore those, click on this option. See shortcuts for all platforms. This will include shortcuts for the Mac platform as well. And here you'll find those handy shortcuts, whether you're working with the desktop app or the web app. You can either close the screen, press Escape, or simply click away to move out of this display. Another way to display this list of shortcuts is from the command box at the top of the screen. Simply type /keys and press enter, and you'll see the same keyboard shortcuts list. Try these to explore how you can save time in Microsoft Teams. Number 2, quick navigation shortcuts. Next, let's focus on easy shortcuts to move around the Teams interface. In Teams, try these simple navigation shortcuts. To display activity, that's Control 1. Chat, Control 2. To move to your Teams, Control 3. Calendar, Control 4. Calls, Control 5. And Files, Control 6. These shortcuts are based on the default layout of the interface. And so if you change the order of these apps, the shortcut depends on the order on the app bar. So here's a bonus tip. Let's move Calendar to the top. Now simply drag it up. Now the shortcut for Calendar is Control 1, and the others would adjust accordingly. For the Teams web app, add Shift to the shortcut. For example, Control Shift 4 to move to the calendar. Number 3, changing your status. Microsoft Teams lets you share your status with your coworkers, whether you're working remotely or working in a different area of the organization. It's also helpful to see if a colleague is available or may not be able to respond to a chat or conversation. Because Teams is synced with your Outlook calendar, it will automatically set your status for you. To change your status, move to your profile picture at the top of the window. On mobile, choose Menu, which is the hamburger icon in the upper left corner. Hover over the current status, which integrates with your Outlook calendar, and select a new status from the menu. Here I'll pick Busy. What are these options? Available indicates you're active on Teams and you don't have anything on your calendar. Busy is when you want to focus on a task, but you do want notifications to pop up. This would also display if you're in a meeting or you have something on your calendar. Do Not Disturb is an option you pick specifically when you want to focus, or it could be something you choose when you present your screen, because that will stop notifications from popping up. You'll only see notifications from Teams if it's an urgent message. Be Right Back, or BRB, is when you want people to know that you're just temporarily away. It's not going to be set up automatically by Teams for you. It's something you need to pick. Appear Away is when you need to work without responding right away. Offline is when you're not signed into Teams. This is not a status that you set, but it may be displayed to others. In addition to changing your status, you can also set a status message. And then you can determine how long that status message will display. And if you want to see the status for your team members, move to the ... or More Options. Choose Manage Team, and here you will see the status of those team members. Number 4, the command box. Wherever you are in Teams, the command box is always there at the top of the screen to help you search, get help, take quick actions, or even launch applications. We saw this briefly before when we looked at how to display a list of keyboard shortcuts. To search for a message, person, channel, or even a file anywhere in Teams, just type what you're looking for into the box. In this case, I'm looking for marketing. Simply type that. You can start to see the matches here. These could be files, these could be Teams. I'll hit enter. And now we can see the results shown by messages, people, files, And you can even filter to get more specific about the results you're looking for. There are several other easy ways to open the command box. One shortcut is Control E. From here, we could once again type what we're searching for, or we can use something called slash commands. Slash commands help you perform tasks without breaking your flow. As we saw earlier, we could type in slash keys, and this would give us our keyboard shortcuts. So another way to get to the command box is one of my favorite shortcuts, Control slash. From here, we see a list of slash commands with descriptions where you can access specific content, get help, or even change your status. So you pick the one you want, or you just type it. For instance, what's new? This would show us what's new means. Let's try that again. Control slash. Here you can see your recent files and then navigate to those that you want to work with. You can also use slash commands to change your status. Notice some of your options: available, away, be right back, busy, and do not disturb. Let's change our status back to available. Number 5, @mentions. How can you improve your communications in Microsoft Teams and make it easier for team members to see your messages? Try @mentions. You're likely familiar with @mentions within social media platforms. This is the technique where you first type the @ and then the name of the person you want to call attention to in your post. In Teams, when you want to bring someone's attention to a conversation, it works the same way. For this conversation, I can type an @ and then all of the members of this particular team will be displayed, and I can select them from the list. Your options for @mentions are @person, @channel, and @team. So instead, if I wanted to mention the channel, this would be @design. And notice how Teams will show you any channel or person that would match those characters. An @mention will call attention to those people, and it will show up in their activities. So let's look at what happens when you have @mentions. Here I'm in Lydia's profile. We can see, first of all, that she has some new activity. Notice the design channel, which is where those @mentions took place, is not only bold, but we also see this indicator as well that we have new activity. And so there's several ways to be able to find this. One would be to simply go to the activity, and you can see recent @mentions for Lydia specifically, as well as the design channel, because she's part of this team. When you use @mentions, this creates a more focused conversation and also can help your conversations to be more easily found and for you to get more immediate replies. Notice the icons as well to the right-hand side of these conversations, specifically where you were mentioned or where the channel was mentioned. We also see specific indicators when an entire team is mentioned. Number 6, managing a team. If you're the owner of a team in Microsoft Teams, there are a number of easy ways to customize and manage a team. Although some of the options are available to all members, I'll focus on your choices as an owner in a team. First, I want to change the name of this team. We'll simply go to the ... the ellipses for more options, or you could right-click and choose Edit Team. Here you can change the name, the description, and even your privacy options. We'll choose Done, and that name change is shown here in Teams. But next, I'd like to manage the team. And once again, either more options or right-click and choose Manage Team. Notice that there are other options here, adding a channel, adding a member, so you can get real specific about what you want. If all you need to do is add someone, you don't have to go into Manage Team. You can even delete the team if you're an owner. From here, I'll manage the team. So I'd like to add a member to this team, and we can simply start typing what we're looking for. This could be the name of a person or a group, and if your organization enables it, this could even be the email address for an outside guest. In this case, I want to add Lydia to the team. And I'll choose add. I could put other people in here as well, but now I've added her, and right now she is a member, but I'd like to have her actually be one of the owners. It's a good best practice to have more than one owner for a team. Not everyone has to be. As people change their roles or maybe even leave the organization, it's helpful to have multiple people that can manage the team. And we'll close. Notice the other options that are available here. Not only managing the members, that is to remove them, change your status to edit them, but also pending requests to join the team, an overview of the channels within the team, and a variety of other settings. This can include something as simple as wanting to change the team picture. And in this case then, go ahead and add a team picture. I will change that. Simply pick upload picture to locate an image that's available to you. And I like that. We'll go ahead. I'll save this and close. But there are other, maybe more significant settings that you also can change as an owner. That is, do you want to be able to let everybody use @mentions? What is the team code? That is, this is one way for people to be able to join a private team. If they have that code, then they don't have to send a request to join it. And how much fun do you want to let people have? That is, do you enable the ability to add GIFs or to work with stickers? It's all up to you in terms of how this team works. Explore these settings to see what makes sense for your specific team. Now here's a bonus tip. Are you part of a team that you aren't actively involved in? Although you could leave the team, you might still want to access the resources and conversations. So one option is to hide a team. Let's say that this retail team isn't something that I'm really involved in. And so by simply go to the more options or right-clicking, here I can choose to hide it. So the team doesn't go away. The owner doesn't even know that I've hidden it. But we can clean up our interface so that we're only seeing those teams that we're actively involved with. Now at any time, you can move to hidden teams. This is a way to know if you have some teams that are hidden. And then they will be displayed. Once again, we can go to more options and you have the choice to show it again. Also, if you have teams that are more important to you, you can change the order. And if this is a project that I'm working on actively, I could actually move that above the Mark 8 project team so that I see it near the top. Number 7, searching in teams. As we saw earlier, one way to search is from the command box. You can also search for specific people within your chat. But it's nice to know that there's a filter option or search option here in Teams. We can get to this by going to the funnel or using the keyboard shortcut Control-Shift-F. What if I'd like to find all the matches for marketing? That was easy. What about project? Although you may not have that many teams and channels, know that this is one way for you to be able to focus in and find those teams or channels that are most important to you. Leverage these search options to save time managing your work in Teams. Number 8, editing a message. Have you ever sent a message that you wanted to change or even delete? I've certainly sent text or emails that I wish I could take back, or at least not to have to follow up with an oops message. Fortunately in Teams, it's easy to edit chat in Teams messages. So I've sent this message, and then it wasn't until after I sent it that I realized that there was a spelling error, or maybe I wanted to add some more information to this message. The nice thing about being able to edit is we don't have to then click on reply and put in more and have it be a more confusing conversation. All we have to do is hover over that message. Notice that you'll see these emojis as well. But I'll move to the ellipses, the dot, dot, dot for more options. And here is edit. Yay, I can fix this. Now you can only edit your messages, but there's no limit to how many times you can make changes to a sent message. And I might want to make other additions. For instance, Here I'll use an @mention for the design channel and make this message a little bit clearer. Simply hit enter to share your changes, or over on the right hand side here you have the option to cancel or to say that you're done. With these simple steps, you can streamline and improve your communications in Teams. Number 9, creating private channels. Do you want to have team conversations that are limited only to specific team members? Rather than creating a new team, a private channel might be the solution. A private channel is designed as a place where confidential conversations can take place and files are stored. Perhaps you're sharing financial information or personnel data. Although the use of private channels should likely be minimized, it can be a good option for some restricted communications, especially if you don't want to create a separate team for these conversations. We start it as we would create any other channel. To create a private channel, we'll simply go to More Options and choose Add Channel. The steps are the same as other channels within this team. The difference is changing the privacy. Here we'll change this to private and pick Next. I'd like to add both Lydia and Nestor to this channel. Now, a private channel can have different owners than the team, but all members in the private channel would need to be part of the larger team, whether they are owners, members, or guests of the larger team. We'll choose Add, and although they don't have to be owners, I am going to make them both owners of this private channel, whether or not they are owners of the team overall. And choose Done. Notice the lock icon on this private channel. This channel is only visible to the members of the channel. Other members of a team won't even see it in their channel list. This gives us an option to share private or confidential information or conversations. Number 10, turning a file into a tab. One way to save time in Teams is to make it easy to find frequently used files. A simple option is to turn a file into a tab. To turn a file into a tab in a channel, first navigate to the channel, then pick Files. Next, hover over the file you want to add to a tab. Here I'll just choose the ... or the ellipses, and notice the wide range of options that are available here. This is one way for us to open up a file if we either want to view it or even edit it. But the option I want is make this a tab. And now this PowerPoint presentation is easily available for review. Here's another tab. This is a document. It's good to know that this option doesn't move the file or make changes to the content. It's simply a shortcut to make it easier to open the file. Although you don't want to put all your files up as tabs, this might be a great option for managing some of your frequently used assets. There are a few choices here as well. You could click and drag to reposition the order, or if you change your mind or no longer need that file as a tab, simply click on the drop-down arrow and choose Remove. This only removes the tab and not the file. Number 11, adding a poll. One way to survey team members without a lengthy conversation or a long email thread is by adding a poll. Polls are created in a Teams channel using the Microsoft Forms app. Another polling option is the Poly app. So here's an example of a simple poll created with Forms. This happens to be a multiple choice poll. As team members complete it, then the results will show below. One of my team members, Alan, is going to complete this, and he's a big fan of dessert. So this is a multiple choice poll, and then once he's done, he can submit his vote. Now we see that the poll has been updated and there have been 2 different people who have responded. It's simple to create a poll. Let's just start this as a new conversation, then move to the More or ... From there, we'll choose Forms. So now I have my question, I have my answers. We could allow for multiple answers or only one, and add other options as well. Choose Next to preview the poll. We can edit if necessary, otherwise I'll send. I'll create a quick mention to make sure that this poll is completed. And we're ready to start collecting responses. Number 12, switching to the dark theme. One of the options in Microsoft 365 and Teams specifically is to change to the dark theme. The dark mode or black theme changes the default bright background color to a darker color, which is often easier on the eyes in low light environments, or if you simply prefer less bright interfaces. To make this change, move to your profile and choose Settings. Your theme options are the default, dark, and high contrast. I'll choose dark and close. And it's that easy to switch to the dark theme. Number 13, saving messages. In Teams, you can save and easily view important messages. Saving a message will make sure that you can quickly access it and view it in the future. You can save other users' messages as well as your own. To save a message, simply move to that message and hover over it and look for the More Options, the 3 ellipses, and then choose Save This Message. There's a lot of conversation in this particular channel, and so there might be other messages I'd like to save as well. So I'll move to this one talking about a legal review. Once again, More Options, pick Save This Message. Once the message is saved, notice the bookmark icon that appears in red and a message will pop up indicating the message was saved. Now it's helpful to know that the author of the messages doesn't know that you saved the messages. These are just being bookmarked for your reference. To view your saved messages, move to your profile in the upper right corner and click on the tab for Saved. This will bring you to your Saved Messages page. And if you no longer need to save that message, move to that red bookmark and simply pick Unsave This Message. Another way to see saved messages regardless of where you are in Teams is to move up to the command box and type /saved. And once again, we get a list of those saved messages. Now this list is in chronological order and it can't be rearranged, but it can be a great way to focus on those key messages or conversations. And once again, we can unsave this message and we can continue to save other key messages that we're working with. Here, I'll save this. Now, if for any reason I change my mind, go back to More Options and unsave. And that's how simple it is to save messages in Microsoft Teams so you can focus on those key conversations. Number 14, pinning important conversations. In Microsoft Teams, it's likely there are certain people and channels where you're most active. To save time, use the pin option to make it easier to access specific chats and team channels. Pinning is a great way to keep track of a chat, even if you only need it temporarily, and especially if you're communicating with a lot of people in your organization. To pin a chat, simply highlight the chat and choose More Options or the 3 dots and choose Pin. Now these conversations will be at the top of your list regardless of other chats that may come in afterwards. Once you pin a chat, you can drag it to any order that you want and then just repeat the process to unpin a chat if it's no longer a priority. There's a limit of 15 pinned chats. The same concept applies to pinning channels. Pinned channels can stay at the top of a list so you don't have to hunt them down, especially if you're working in a number of different teams and a variety of projects or other priorities. As we saw before, just hover over the channel or the item that you want to pin, look for the More Options, and choose Pin. And all of your pinned channels will then appear at the top of your team's list. Once you pin a channel, you can drag it into whatever order you want. And if you no longer need to have that channel pinned, move to More Options and choose Unpin. Number 15, formatting and fun stuff in conversations. Whether you're in chat or having a conversation in a channel, Teams include a wide range of options to enhance a message and add some fun to your communications. We find these options when we either start a new conversation or reply to a thread or a chat. Now, although we could simply type in straight text, look for these format options. This opens up what's called the Compose box. Notice your options in the Compose box. These include simple font changes like bold, italics, options like highlighting, bullets, numbered list, and even creating tables. And as you've probably discovered already, there's a wide range of options that are available for you to enhance and add some fun to your messages, including emojis, GIFs, and stickers. Now I think I've added enough here, so I'm going to send this. And know that you might want to just use these options in little bits and pieces, but they can add some fun to your conversations. Another option available in the Compose box is not just to have a new conversation, but to have an announcement. Announcements might be something that is posted in the General tab, where we have broader communication versus communication that might make more sense in a specific channel. Announcements will stand out. You can even change colors or add images, and we'll send this on its way. Notice as well that this is flagged as an announcement. And here's another fun addition that can keep us connected with our team members, and that is praise. Once again, you'll see this as you start a new conversation. Look for the praise option. Pick a badge that matches the tone of your message. We're going to send this to Lynn with a personalized message. Although I'm posting this in a channel, it also could be sent via chat. Which of these options will you add to your next conversations? And that's our look at 15 time-saving tips and tricks to make the most of Microsoft Teams. Thanks for watching.